Welcome to PPR Podcast number 206, brought to you by the San Diego Strike Force. Bert, we're in kind of a new environment here.
So fancy.
So fancy, but it looks good. And I made the mistake of introducing...
You look short today.
Oh, that's because I lowered my chair. Hang on a second.
Come on.
I made the mistake of introducing the guests last week.
You did.
And
it was
boy,
terrible.
You jumped all over me. So why don't you go back to routine and introduce this morning's guest.
No introduction needed. Ron Berner from El Capitan High School.
Behind the wheel. Behind the wheel because there's no power. Where are you, Coach?
Alpine.
And the power's gone out.
Yep, just right when Bert was calling me, power went out, and we just got a message from SDG&E, hopefully to restore it by 1.
All right, well, we're not going to wait for him. We'll just do it behind the wheel. Coach, as you look back on the season that just was, you were playing for a state title. There's no way, it didn't go the way you wanted it to go in the state game, but there's no way you can say anything other than this was a great season to be a vaquero. Could you expand on that, please?
It was an awesome season. It's only the second time in El Cap's 66-year history that we were even at a CIF title game. Obviously we won San Diego, then we won regional, lost to an unbelievable team that, in my mind, we shouldn't even have been playing. They're ranked 160-something points higher than us, but it is what it is. And, I don't let losing that state title game affect how we did this year. I feel very, very good at how our team played. And, we had an 11-game winning streak.
That's amazing. Coach, in our intro up to you, I said, high school coaches really should not be measured by wins and losses. They should be measured by the metric of how many lives mentored. And on that scorecard, Coach, you're a Hall of Famer. Not to take anything, because your one-loss record is nothing to sneeze at, but the fact that you've mentored so many people, well, do you agree with my intro? And if so, could you expand on it?
There are coaches, and a lot of people think that it's all about wins and losses, and I would be lying if I told you that winning doesn't matter, because there's an old saying, winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. That's a Vince Lombardi quote, but and I'm one of the most competitive guys out there. You talk to any, I don't know my players, but any coaches I coach against, I'm very competitive. But at the end of the day, I always felt my calling about coaching is taking care of kids and teaching them how to be productive people in society and what's going to happen in real life. And football is really a microcosm of what real life is. Everything that we do in teamwork and sacrifice and discipline and all that is a big part of it. And I feel very comfortable in what I have done over the 20 years I've been the head coach at El Cap. Wins are wins, and I love having the wins, and the titles are awesome. But I am more proud of the players that have played for me and what they've become after high school and in life.
I came here from Pennsylvania. Obviously, football's huge, and didn't really see it in California. And then we went to play you guys when I was at Saints, and that's actually when I fell in love with California high school football, because the atmosphere in Lakeside and El Cap for that game was just absolutely incredible, like something you'd think you'd see it on the SEC at game day or something like that. What is it like in that community, to have that much support? I mean, you don't get that everywhere.
No, and it is an awesome thing. Obviously when we're winning, things are better. That's just how it is anywhere. But even in our down years, Lakeside supports El Capitan football. It's crazy. I think I told Paul a few years back, my first year when we did the run through Lakeside, there were maybe 50 people on the street. And it was just my way of starting off hey, this is El Cap football. We're starting off. Here we go. And now it's probably 1,000 people on the street. It's packed. For our last few games, that place was packed. And, you're talking about our Saints game in 06, our semi. That place was crazy. It was standing room only all the way around both sides. Alumni come out. They fly in sometimes to watch the game. So, yeah, it's an unreal atmosphere and a great community. It's hard to even explain sometimes. You just have to be my DC, Sean McDade, when he came over from Mount Miguel and he experienced his first time in that run through Lakeside, all he could say was, "This is unbelievable. I didn't think it was like this." That's just our community and our school.
Yeah, that sets you guys apart from everybody else in town. I mean,
I thought it was going to be like that everywhere, and then it's been like 15 years, and nobody's even come close to replicating it. So it was special, and even come from Pennsylvania where football's huge. It was special for anywhere.
Yeah, they love it out here.
And also love the part where you put the visiting team with the tractors and the manure and all that stuff.
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah. We had to sit where there was all tractors and it was agricriculture and it was manure. And I'm like, This place is great. They even treat you like garbage when you're a visitor.
Yep. Yeah, I've had some coaches use that as they're getting their team fired up. Look at these guys. Look where they're putting us with the pigs and all the animals. Well, they don't get it, but we're over there too. But it's good chalkboard stuff.
So what's bigger in your view? Is Lakeside football bigger than the rodeo, or is the rodeo still a showcase?
I'm going to have to say we're even. So rodeo's huge. And our rodeo and our stadium association is unbelievable what they do for our community and for our youth sports. But it's a one-time-a-year deal, and we like to hope we can be every year 14 times a year.
You know, it's hard. Football obviously has changed high school. Everybody's transferring now. There's basically a portal. There is no portal. And people don't realize there's, towns and coaches like you and Damon Baldwin and Ramona. You don't get anybody else. You play with what you have, and that's all you have. And I don't think people realize when you go to state and you do all these runs and you continually, have winning tradition, how hard that is these days. Is that something you look at other teams and you're like, I'm going to get some transfers, or I'm going to get some, but it never it can't happen in Lakeside. It can't happen in Ramona. It can't happen in these small mountain towns.
How many kids do you lose?
How many what?
I assume you have more kids that leave than come in, right? I mean.
Well, so one thing I was really proud of, over my 20 years, I'd never lost a varsity transfer. This year we lost one, and it really bothered me because I thought I did something wrong, but I didn't. And when I talked to the player, I understood his reason for leaving to another school, and he did very well there. But I don't lose anybody. It's like I said, it bothered me. It bothered me as a person. Like, I know it's the environment now and people transfer and they have better opportunities, and it's that way high school. It's that way in Pop Warner, if you kind of look at Pop Warner. But kind of what I was really proud of, and we as a staff are proud of, is we have one transfer in this year, and it was nobody from San Diego. It happened to be a military transfer from Texas that came and played a nose tackle for us. And he came from an 0-10 school and had told me, I probably won't make the team. So that's our only transfer. We don't get transfers that, hey, we want to go to El Cap and we want to raise a pig, or we want to go to, it's Lakeside kids, Lakeside Alpine community that we have at El Cap.
So at the restaurant, do you serve veal parmesan from El Cap's program? Do you take the cows from there, or the calves?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Well, hey, can I follow up on that? Because for those who don't know, you run a very successful restaurant chain, Nicolosi's. Running a restaurant and running a football team, are there any similarities?
Yeah, they both give you gray hair.
That's it?
I mean,
you have to manage people, right?
There's nothing really similar. I mean, running a football team, and a lot of people don't know it. Like, people say, oh, being a head coach is easy. Being a head coach is not an easy thing. The easiest part of my job is actually coaching the kids on the field. There's so much more that goes beyond that and behind the scenes that we need help from I have a great admin team. I'm going to put them up against anybody in the county because they support us. They support the students. They support everything. So, but as far as business wise, the fundraising and keeping track of money and trying to make, ends meet with what money you get, that's kind of what's similar. But besides that, they're both take a lot of time.
All right, 20-year Ron Burner all-time football team. Who's the starting quarterback, Brant Barker or Ryan Lindley?
That's
or
not
neither,
fair.
or neither.
All-time team, they all have their different things. Ryan was my first quarterback as far as being a head coach, and he took us, quite a long ways to that game with Saints, where everybody knows that we should have played you guys the last game, not the semi. Brant Barker is unbelievable. Like, he took this team to a state title. I mean, they're just different players. There's players in between that. You know, Tanner Russ broke every single LCAP record and was on track to be on the PPR Silver Pigskin, but didn't make it that year, even though he threw for almost 4,000 yards. Brad Cagle took us to a state championship, and there's been many more in between there. So it's kind of hard. Somebody's asked me this question multiple times. Let's do an all LCAP team, and I'm going to make sure I have other people with me when we do that.
Mm-hmm. I got another Brant Barker question, because we had him on the podcast and he said that he has a faster car than you. Is that true?
Well, he likes to think so, but he's got a little Mustang GT and I've got a Z06, and it doesn't even come. So I took him after that thing. I took him for a ride. We went to one of the freshman games, and he got in. And I said, "Hey, my car's not even broke in yet." And we took off, and I slapped him back in the back of the seat, pinned his head back. He's like, "Holy crap, this thing's unbelievable." So he knows better. And then he said something about, it's not the car, it's the driver. I don't want to teach him a lesson.
It's probably not something we should expand on.
Yeah. Wait, when you have that kind of car, Coach, it's not that hard making ends meet at the restaurant, obviously. I don't know what you're talking about.
That comes from my stipend.
Oh, okay.
Anybody knows how coaches' stipends are, I'd be lucky to be driving a Volkswagen.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, you bring up Brant Barker. The kid's got the dimensions that back when I was playing high school football, which was in the late 70s, that kid had D1 written all over him just by the metrics of what he weighed and how he stood and his physical characteristics. Now a kid like that in this modern era of football struggles to get a long D1 look, and it's only going to get worse now with this new JUCO rule. Is college football broken, and how is it adversely affecting high school kids?
I think it is. Like, let's go back to Ryan Lindley in 2006, or even Tanner. Well, if Brant was playing that time, he would have had multiple D1 offers, because he has the size, he has the brain, he has a cannon for an arm, he's accurate, he knows the game, he hustles. But in today's world with the portal, the colleges all say, well, either I want someone who can run, and he's not slow, but they want someone who can run and sprint, or I'm going to get somebody out of the portal that's got 2 or 3 years experience. If you look at the Aztecs right now, they picked up a guy, 2 guys they've just signed that are 2-year guys in college. And you're right, with this new JUCO thing, now they're going to have guys play 2 years of JUCO that still have 5 to play 4. It's not really fair to high school kids.
So because the JUCO thing is going to happen, obviously. How do you fix that? And because if the JUCO thing happens, we go because the portal just killed recruiting, and then the JUCO thing is going to just completely decimate recruiting. What does it turn into now? Like, one kid out of the county might get a scholarship now instead of 20?
I don't know what's going to happen. It's a sad state of affairs, and I try to talk to Brant, multiple times. We've got his name out there, he's got his highlights out there. He sees some other people get picked up, that maybe run faster or scramblers. I don't know what's going to happen with this new landscape, to be honest. Like, it's not fair for high school kids, but we're going to have to figure a way of adapting it. Because you're right, unless you're a 5-star guy that runs a 4.5 40, has a cannon, 6'5", it's going to start affecting these young men, and it's not fair. And obviously, quarterbacks are the hardest position because there's only one of them. On a team, you might, if you're a linebacker, you might have a better chance, or a DB or a wide receiver, because there's more of them that are getting scholarships. So it bums me out a lot seeing how it's changing, but we're gonna have to figure a way of adapting.
Yeah, and if
kids are just going to now have to lower their expectations and go play JUCO football, right?
Yeah, but it's you even look at the portal. There's 7,500 kids in the portal. There about 5,000 or 6,000 are going to be stuck in the portal with nowhere to go. Then another whole group of JC kids that are older. High school is going to be so far down the list. I don't think people realize it as far as recruiting. We might have,
and that's the problem. If you think about it as a college coach, and I'm looking at it, and I can use this in my business. If I'm going to hire a new chef, am I better off hiring a brand new chef out of culinary school, or hiring somebody that's got 4 or 5 years experience? Well, that's what's happening in college right now. You are going to get kids who've got 2, sometimes 3, maybe even 4 years and have 2 years left they've already got college experience, or am I going to take a chance on a high school kid who has never played college ball to get, as well as I do, how each level you go, that game speed's better and better. And now I take a incoming freshman who's not playing, who's going to transfer out because he's not getting enough playing time. So I see what's going on.
So how do you fix it?
I
mean, you can't get the genie back in the bottle.
I don't know. I mean, NCAA, I agree with them paying these kids because they deserved all those years of, I know so many of the kids, they struggled through college, I'm talking about, like, it's a struggle. Well, now they're getting some money, but now that nil money is so huge. How do you get past that? I don't know if they're ever going to change the rule to maybe do a salary cap. I don't know.
I mean, I don't even think the kids go to school anymore, or they don't have to. They're now basically employees of the university to play football, which, I mean, I get that the student-athlete thing was always a little on the shady side.
But even now, as you have online, you could have a group of 20 GAs just logging in and doing kids' work. I mean, there's nothing to it anymore.
Right.
Oh, it's a whole different atmosphere, and I don't know how they're going to fix it. I sure hope they come up with something because, the good, not great, but the good high school players or the very good high school players are going to be left out. And like you said, with this new JUCO rule, so now you're going to have guys going to JUCO for 2 years, getting all that experience, and now they're going to take them over the high school kid.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
Without a doubt.
Hey, how long is it for you? What's your commute from Alpine to El Cap every day?
It depends when I'm driving. No,
I knew that was going to be.
In both, all right, in the truck and the Corvette. What's the difference?
It takes me about 10 minutes to get there. I go the back way.
That's
I just
it?
like taking the back way there.
Oh, I thought it was like an hour.
Oh, no, not at all. It's maybe 12 miles. So I usually drive the back way because I like to relax and kind of get my brain into practice mode.
And because you're an off-campus coach, obviously you don't do there. What's your time during football season? How much time a day you spend at El Cap?
Oh, I would say half of my time minimum. It's, we, especially with that new heat
Advisory?
Advisory, we were practicing sometimes at, getting there at 5:30 in the morning, and I'd leave 8:30, 9, go take care of some stuff at work, and then come back again. So it's during the season from August until we just finished, probably 5-6 hours a day.
Man.
So that seems to be the way around that rule, is that you're either I also noticed out at LCC they put in lights on their practice field, so they're either practicing late at night or early in the morning. Is that the way around this? Oh, we can't practice in the hot weather?
Oh, absolutely. Your only option is that. And we could have gone later, but we just decided, since we were practicing everybody, freshman, JV together, that we decided going early in the morning was going to be better than going late at night, because we had the option of the lights in the back where Pop Warner is, and we decided not to. But, when we first started, it was pretty cool. I'm like, hey, these kids are fired up. Look at this, man. They're out here. Everybody's here on time. And about week 4 or 5, it became a pain in the butt. Like, you could see the newness was wearing off. They were tired, because we would have them. Part of the deal for us to do that and go to school was they had to take showers. So I'm out at Costco buying shampoo and stuff where, the kids are all doing their showers. It got to be very monotonous and tiresome. So luckily the weather changed enough that, we didn't have to worry as much.
How long you see yourself coaching still? You see the end yet or no?
Every year I question myself, and here's what I come down to in my mind. As long as I'm physically able and I feel I'm still making a difference, then I'm going to continue doing it. What I always do when the season's over, we take off, we go away for a couple weeks after the holidays. And in my mind, I've always told myself, when I'm gone, if I'm not starting to get in the mode of planning out my weight room and planning the off season, then it's time to go. And I'm already at that point right now, getting things ready. So
it's not this year.
It's not this year.
No, not for sure. Not this year. My grandson is a freshman at El Cap, so I've got a little pressure.
Oh, you got 4 years.
That's 4 years.
Family finish that out, and would it be easier to kind of go out, with another CIF title? Yeah, it would be, but I've got a great group of kids coming back, and it's going to be fun.
Coach, before we let you go, I promise we'll wrap this up in a couple minutes here. I want to talk about the Burner Cup and what it, for people, pretend like people don't know, they're watching this for the first time. Can you tell us I hate to make you think back on painful stuff, but it's an important game played every year. Could you talk a little bit about it and your son, please?
So for people that don't know, I lost my son Tony in 2017, and he was West Hills quarterback when I was at West Hills, broke a lot of records, went on to play some college in Nebraska. When he came back, he hurt his arm playing, and so he came back and he coached with me all the way through our state run in 2014. And so, obviously losing him was devastating. It still is. There's always going to be that hole in my heart. I know he's up there sometimes in these games, still tell me what plays to run. But we started a scholarship fund that we've been giving out approximately $5,000 to $6,000 of scholarships each year. It started off to only be El Cap, and then we expanded to West Hills, and then we expanded to Santana. We're going to expand all the way to the Grossmont Conference this next year. So we started, I had called Casey Ash and said, hey, he broke all the records there, was a West Hills alum. What about we do a cup? And Casey was 100% on board, and we got that going, and it's been part of our rivalry is the Tony Burner Cup. My kids get fired up for it. A lot of the kids don't know who Tony was anymore because obviously they were very young when he was a coach, but they know what it means, and it's a big deal. It's the school loves it, obviously West Hills, that when they play, they're fighting for it. They want the cup. But the scholarships are the biggest thing. We're trying to keep his memory going, and the scholarships is a huge thing for us.
As we wrap this up, Coach, what coaches played the biggest part in your development? When you look back, what coaches do you respect? Who have you stolen from most as far as ideas? And I'm just curious, who's influenced Ron Burner?
Well, Coach Al Brandenburg was my high school coach, and he basically saved my life in getting me on the right track with football. And I still talk to him once a month. He posts, he lives up in San Clemente, and some of my ex-players, we meet around Christmas time up there all the time to have a dinner with them. And so obviously he's my biggest influence, but as far as peers and John Carroll is one of my biggest. I respect that man. He's had so many talks with me about football and things to do and not do. And, as far as maybe taking things and all that, Mouse Davis, I've copied so many of his offensive things, and I just watch other coaches. If I'm seeing, I'll watch a Lincoln game and see a play that Jason Carter's got and go, okay, well, my guys can't do it at 15 yards, but maybe we can do that at 12. So to me, there's so many great coaches. Ron Hamamoto, I can name a ton of them, but those are the guys that have been around for a while. Sean Doyle, who when I first started coaching, I could ask them questions and they always had an answer for me and never, shined on me. It's just, those are my guys.
I thought you were going to name me, but thanks.
Yeah, I thought you were going to name Grossman, Coach.
Oh, it was Bert, but he was supposed to come to El Cap and he decided to go to Hoover.
Yeah, well, you can't count on him.
I don't have a Corvette. Come on. It could take me an hour.
Coach, we've kept you for exactly as long as we said we would. So thank you for being flexible and dialing in early. We appreciate it. We wish you and yours a Merry Christmas, Coach, and we'll see you.
You guys too, and I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Well, we'll do it again. And until we see you again, and until I run into you at the restaurant, peace and love, Coach.
All right, man. Take care, guys.
Thank you,
PPR Podcast 206 is over. Everybody turn off your machines. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you later. Merry Christmas.